Yeah,
recording.
and and I would love like all of that what you just shared to be recorded too.
Okay,
So
got it.
I'm just gonna go ahead with it and get it started.
Okay.
Right on. So I hear that you're getting a computer for doing online meeting, online courses.
Yes, I decided that this challenge and this thing of being in this box, that I'm over that story, and that I see the benefit of doing these meetings with people and even recording them and sharing, and still being able to share from a place of deep truth and vulnerability. If we decide to share this afterwards, then we can decide to share it. And if not, not. And it's so awesome just to hit the record button for our own personal reference, to be able to replay this back and yeah, really be able to receive the gold from it. So I'm getting a computer in the next couple weeks and getting ready to, yeah, maybe launch some more teams and also offer some online program teachings, which is a huge like learning curve for me. And I feel really a lot of joy about it, and sparks. And also a way to like manage time better, like be able to like do this with more flexibility.
Mm.
Yeah, by doing it online.
Yay. Yeah. So kind of like last, I want to bring up like kind of what's alive for me. Yeah, I want to bring up what's alive for me.
Mm-hmm.
And in my relational space with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm, I feel happy and I feel joy of being here with you. I also feel like scared, like there is that edge of like my fear is keeping me alive and in connection, and in the yeah in the present moment, you see in the now,
Mm-hmm.
and in our meeting that we had yesterday, there was an, crap, I wanna like keep it about now, like what is alive now, like I'm just kind of like in ecstasy. I'm in ecstasy from this way that we started the meeting, where there is no backstory. There is no like a backstory of what we're doing here, where there is no like a even like a kind of the purpose is creating clarity in our relational space, and I want to let that emerge organically. And I'm right now in the ecstasy of the stories that we just shared. That you share your story, and you got to like bring your presence into the space, and that I also got to share my story, and I got to bring my presence into the space. And it was to me, it's magical. And I love hearing from you, and I appreciate from you the the edge that you're bringing in about your work, about uh, kind of like the joy of, yeah, like the your joy of being in doing the work that you do.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and I'm in appreciation of that right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you for catching it. And when we came to meet, I was like, "Oh, do you have any road dust you want to share, or where you're coming from?" And I was sharing with you how I just landed, and just this really inspirational day with the children in the woods in forest school, and getting face painted, and yeah, and working with these children with diverse abilities, and just meeting them where they're at, and how they're just full of love, and taking away this word should, and I'm not going to should on you, and letting them know that, and yeah, just coming into an open space. So I thank you for catching some of my stories of the day, and this is really powerful. I heard yesterday that in a village in the Kalahari Desert of the Bushmen there is that they say that share your daily stories with try for like 6 people to catch in a day, which is like so much. Like, we don't live in a village. Where are these 6 people? And when I was told that yesterday, I felt grief about that. And like every day, like something so incredibly transformative like can happen just in connection with strangers on the street or in my forest school where I'm working, and I have all these stories I want to share at the end of the day. And it's really beautiful when you can find someone to catch and hold that story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even in the simplest moments of interactions.
Yeah. Yeah, that's something that's alive for me right now about the village, like and the where is the village, and there's like this like bottle that opened up about my grief about village. I was in a process today, and he just like pour and pour and pour and pour and pour, and there was more and more, and and it was amazing because the space holder, yeah, with that grief was like so big. It was so big, like generations and generations or something like that, like a few generations of like accumulated grief, like of my ancestors that haven't been grieved, my the dead people that haven't been grieved, the the situations and circumstances that haven't been grieved in my family, because there was no that tool of grieving. There was no tool of grieving. There's no distinction of grieving. So it became like a repression of the grief, and that repression got passed on to the next generation, to my grandparents, and then to the next generation, to my mother, and then to the next generation, to me, and where it's like this accumulated grief. And yeah, that's something that feels very alive with me right now, and it came up in the process in the EHP space, in an emotional healing process that I was in today. And yeah, it connected right away with money. It was like a connection with money. It came down to this memory of when I was a child and connection with money, and somehow my disconnection with village is connected with my disconnection from money. That was a clarity that came for me today. And it came back to this decision like about 9 years ago, when I decided to kind of like change my relationship with money, to you say fuck money, I'm gonna live without money. Money's dirty, money is like it's, yeah, like there was like all like this concept that was created about money, and like and then around the same time, it was like also like a disconnect from my parents. So it was like around that time where there was like this disconnection from village and disconnection from money happened around the same time. And there was just like infinite grief. Like there's like I'm still in that process of that where is the village? Where is the village? And that we need the village for grieving. That I need the village for grieving. I want to share this grief with others. I want others to see this grief, and if there is no other people there's no way to catch this grief. Yeah, it feels like it's right there. It's so close and it's so touching. And I want to do it. I want to like go through that grief process. And today was one step towards that.
I feel that the impact, how it impacts us all individually and collectively when we're not held in that space of village, and especially when it it comes to grief. It is a community thing. It is a village thing. Yeah, last night was, I missed it, but it was a sold out offering of Stephen Jenkinson. It's called Grief and I can't remember, not Grief and Praise. That's Martin Prechtel. But the man that he's an author who wrote Die Wise, A Night of Deep Grief and Mystery, it's called, and it was here in Victoria last night, and I've been to it before, and it's ways of practicing grief together as a village. And the grief singers that come in, and the grief singers, like I've seen him at the Eco Village, at churches, at various locations, and these grief singers come walking down the aisles singing these different songs, and it has this ability to touch on all the levels of the bodies and just move it through us. And these this is one way, having like the grief songs, the grief singers coming together. Yeah. And I remember in my experiences early in the year, like, this is why I'm here right now on these phone calls. This is why I'm like doing this like deeper authentic relating, is I was pushed into such a deep place of grief beyond my capacity to deal with this. And on my phone call yesterday with this new team member, Belinda, like, she's like, what happened? Like, what happened in your life that everything fell apart? And then now, like, is coming back together, where I'm relating with this team again. And I said it was my grief, like experiencing that intense loss, and just realizing that, like, I couldn't do it alone, and I tried to take it alone, and I did do it, and then it wasn't working. And then I tried to organize a grief ceremony for myself, and that didn't work. It took other people, like it took the village. And some of the most effective stuff was actually when it was done with the music, in a ritual sense, like the singer singing to me and like singing out the grief, and it like just coming out of the body and shaking and keening and wailing.
Yeah.
But being witnessed in that. Yeah. And to see you're not alone. Yeah. And I believe it's Martin Prechtel that shares that in Grief and Praise. That's when I came into knowing about his work and his sharing that it's a village thing. It's to be done together.
Yeah, that's interesting because it was with Martin Prechel, listening to his praise and grief and
Grief and
price. Yeah, there's this 3-part talk on YouTube, and I just been listening to it on over and over, and this is like open up like a whole doorway of me of like my deadness, of like what's dead inside of me, how I'm carrying a ghost with me, and yeah, just like these sounds that he makes is like shake the box, like he shook my box, like even from hearing it from the computer, from the headphones, it's like something just like touched right in and shook my box. It allowed for like the process today was like wailing and wailing and wailing, and I started like that process with a space holder, and it was really powerful. And there came a grief that is relevant right now about in our relational space, in my relational space with you, that I want to put on the table. And it was because it came about this missing of village, and the wailing is that like about missing the village, and it was like the sadness just came right away. And then it got triggered into a memory when I was a child, like around 7 years old, and something happened with money, like there was like this like money thing. But anyways, like I think what is relevant here is that I made the decision that yeah, the money is dirty. That the and there was like also like another decision that I bow down to the entity of money. That I made the decision that money is more valuable than people, than family, than myself, than my games, than anything in this world. And my gremlin made a handshake with the entity of money to 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 protect me or something like that to help me survive. Like my grandma said, like, yeah, I'll take this on, and that's been going on for most of my life. And inside of that, there was this disgust. There was a disgust of my mother. Like hatred for my mother because she was also doing that handshake. Her gremlin was also handshaking the money entity, and her being was like bowing down and saying, "Oh, hail money," or like "Oh, money is so all powerful money," and just like enslaving to money, being a slave to money, um, working for money, putting money above people and above relationships and about fun or about playing, and inside of this, like, yeah, like it created like I had that like anger that about it. Like my being was angry about it, but there was also like a part of like my being that just like bow down, and I gave my center to money. So money like is the way. Money is is the way in this world. My mom proves it. My mom beat me up my mom beat me up saying that money is more valuable than my being, than the integrity of my being, than my gains, than my gifts. So so yeah, there was this big like thing that happened with money when I was like very young, maybe even like 6 or something like that. And I grew up. There was a shift about 9 years ago in my relation with money, because I used to be okay with it. Like I used to be able to make it, to work for money and like find jobs. It was so easy. Finding jobs was so easy, and I had no problem with it until about like 9 years ago when I had yeah, this breakdown of my world where like uh, I couldn't work for money anymore. There was a part of me that was like, I can't work for money like this anymore. I need to make a real change in life. I want to like work and like really bring my gifts to life. And inside of this, it came with the rejection of money and also the rejection of my family. There was like this like money's dirty. There was when this came like money's dirty, money's unwanted, money's evil, money is like bringing making a slave out of me and out of humanity, and it came with the rejection of my parents too, who are in that who I associated with them like doing that too. And yeah, and it's like in the call today, like I saw that thing that I made i- is kind of it was like rejecting all the people, like it's like rejecting so many people. Like it's like I can't do this with anybody. Like everybody's doing this, and I just didn't like. There's this, like this being my being is just like pushing away money, and like I don't want money with me. Like money is dirty. I don't want to sleep with money. I don't want to have sex with money. I don't want to like have money like touch me. Like it's gonna get me dirty, and I don't want to put it in my mouth. I don't want to eat it. I don't want to have it. And there was this huge rejection that is still that there is still alive in me in some ways. Like it's still like that's the edge where I'm at.
Mhm.
And yeah, it comes in this form of like big rejection of people that work with money and that are bowing down to money, and which is like pretty like even me, like it's like even me. like I have like I discovered this like disgust or hatred for myself uh for the way I work with money or something like that, and there's just like this pushing away of my village, like I'm killing the possibilities of connecting with like 90% of all my villages, and I leave like these like small percentages to connect with people like Tree, with people like David, with people like even like Dante, uh, and like the rest of the villages. Like to me, it's like no, like there's like a secret resentment that I have about them.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, and that's what I discovered today in my process, that there is that construct is something like a construct. I created that construct that keeps me like punishing myself, and keeps me in zero and like distance and safe in this safe place. So, like I'm right and the world is wrong, and I can just keep uh, I can keep being uh, well, in the past it was about smoking, like I can just keep smoking, and now that I can keep being with my family, or keep being taking the time that I need for doing the things that I want or something like that, like taking the time for this call, or taking the time for going for a swim with the children.
Mm-hmm.
um yeah, yeah, that was a big story, and that's where I'm at.
I'm hearing that connection between money and the village, and how like it was once all together for you and connected, and then you broke away from it.
Yeah, it was connected, but it was also gremlin.
Okay.
And what I mean when I say that, it was this psychopathic part of myself. It wasn't my whole being in the process of receiving money and delivering my value.
Mm-hmm.
There was this like gremlin that is all that is like mental, and he like knows how to like this programming, and I can do programming, and I can figure out problems, and I can solve problems. So it was like this value from doing things. Is value from doing things. It wasn't a value from my being. That my being is valuable. It's a value from doing.
Mm-hmm.
So it was my gremlin making the money.
Mm-hmm. But what about this disconnection, or like this not like, I heard you say that there's even this judgment to, like, you've got David and Tree and these people that you can build village with, and Dante and some other people, and then I heard you say like you have this like the stories going on, so you have this almost like judgment towards other people in other villages that are working with money, and is it keeping you separate from those people?
Yeah, yeah, and they're not even from other villages. They're my village. They're my people. They are the people uh that I'm connected with, that I'm supposed to be working with, that I'm supposed to be delivering my value with them, and being in conflict with them, even in conflict about money, or in conflict about uh, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But part of me is, yeah, like that part of me is like avoiding the conflict. Like I don't want to be in conflict, and I just want to like reject these people. So I avoid changing myself, and I'm not delivering my value. I'm scared of being in conflict with these other people about money. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. And yeah, feels like lots there to for transformation.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just allowing, I mean, we're on the day of the new moon eclipse in Scorpio, which is like related to like all things kind of money, sex, those kind of money and sex, and transforming those parts. And also, depending where it falls in our chart, then we're affected in other places in our houses. I have Scorpio, which is what this eclipse is about, in my house of finances. So I'm feeling that as well. I had money on my mind this morning in a way like, where can I bring it in from my gifts and my talents? And I was going through my medicines and Serena, do something with your medicine. Serena, do something with like all this stuff you have and that you create. I didn't make it to the witches market this weekend that was happening. And then I was cleaning up my baggage and going through my stuff yesterday. I'm like, holy moly, I have an entire witches market right in my house. Use your talents, use your gifts, transform, like bring it in, bring resources in. Why am I hoarding this here? Why do I have all this stuff? So, and then and then I looked it up which other houses Scorpio was falling in, and it falls into my finances. So I feel like I'm undergoing also this transformation there in a way of relating how I relate with money. And I think it was about 9 years ago for myself that I also left the system for some time and quit my relationship with banks and quit that system and did a bankruptcy and did a transformation of sorts, and perhaps not in the most responsible way, but in the way that I knew best to do at that time. And it's an evolving relationship. Yeah. So thanks for sharing. I appreciate hearing like how it's in connection with the village though, and how that was unique in your situation.
Yeah. And it's even alive in our relational space, which is why I bring it up. Yeah, like there's a part of me, even though it's very like subconscious, but that I still like holding up that resentment for you because you work with money or something like that. And I wanna like I wonder if you can hold the space for me to go in there to see that process, because because part of me feels like I'm like it's wanting to keep me like holding me in this like place of being right. I want to be right, or I am right about money, and it's just like a lot of it is this dissolving today, and I also like want to like see what's there. And um I think with the purpose of just putting what I've been doing, what's been in my unconscious agenda with you, that I haven't talked about or I haven't shared. And I feel scared about doing this, um, because it's like unknown, like I haven't explored this territory.
Okay. Do you feel centered, grounded, bubbled?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. And even my grounding color changed. It changed to green, like a bright green. And I just want to share that I got the possibility today to in all of this grief and all of this sharing to bring joy, to bring conscious joy. And Gabriel gave me the possibility to just bring some conscious joy, and in doing that, like it makes this like grieving and praising.
Yeah, I was gonna
So
say the
so
praise.
full.
Yeah.
And I'm in the question right now of how is it connected with mixing emotions? How is it connected with, like, am I mixing emotions when I'm doing when I'm connecting joy and sadness together, and knowing to the distinction, what is praising, what is grieving in terms of the emotions and feelings. So I'm still in that research.
Can I share from the Eight Shields tradition that I've been trained in? We join up, we start our days in a place of gratitude to bring our minds together as one. And it's in that circle where we're sharing our gratitude.
It cut off gratitude. It's still cut off. Mm, it cut off
That,
gratitude. Now
and
it's
that's like
back.
our joy.
Okay, it's cut off again. Aha! I think it's back. It's kind of like slow and frozen right now. I don't know if it's going. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, guess what? I'm not even on Wi-Fi. That's wee. I was on my data.
Oh
Okay,
wow.
that should work better.
Okay.
Is that in?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
So in the
yeah, it cut off in gratitude. That was the last thing I heard.
okay, I'm gonna go back to that space because I think I just wasn't on the Wi-Fi. So in this other tradition that I've been trained in, Eight Shields, we do this hold space for the gratitude in the beginning to bring our minds together. And it's also in this space that grief fits in, and that sometimes when we're sharing gratitude with the other mentors, there might be grief that comes up, and that's just, we hold it at the same time. And so in this way, they're connected, because this grief comes from something about reverence and awe. It comes out of a reverence for life. And I don't know more exactly as to why we hold grief in the same place as gratitude, but it is something in that tradition that that's when grief might come up. We're sharing our gratitude, but actually like something else has to come up. So just to add to that question of, is it mixing them? There just seems to be this deep connection between the two. And gratitude is really like that praise.
Yeah.
So I could even research a little bit more into that background of why Eight Shields holds that.
Yeah. Right. So I was I wanted to share about, yeah, my resentment, that resentment that's there, that is even like unconscious and invisible for me right now. And yeah, I wanna go uh yeah, and I asked you if you could hold, if you can hold space for it for me to explore that.
Mm-hmm.
Because yeah,
Grounded. My cord is yellow into the
yeah,
earth.
yeah.
Bubbled. Good.
Thank you. Yeah, it's such a deep resentment, and it's not a aim at you in specific, but it's like a aim at a group of people. And it's I think, yeah, I'm feeling like a mix of anger and fear. And and my fear is about not not being able to find food or something like that, not being able to feed myself or to have a shelter for the night. There was just like so many needs, and it was just like full on like gremlin taking care of my child's health. Nah, I'm like 5, no, like 6, 7 years ago, when I was in my journey in Mexico, and there is this like people in the restaurants enjoying and having fun, and I made this anger about this is like my first time like facing like this reality of the world of like people choosing choosing money above people or above like people's needs or something like that, and just being like kind of like testing that again. Like I think I tested it when I was a kid, and then I tested again like now as an adult, and like with new tools I can speak, and I can speak what I'm feeling and ask for things. And yeah, I'm feeling like this like fear and anger, and they're mixed together, and they're kind of like creating this like it's like, oh, why, like it's like created like a huge resentment in my life. I created this huge resentment to people, started hating people, hating, yeah, like just getting so disappointed and so disgusted by people and the way they're like so detached and like inconsiderate from people, like people in the street, or like even like children that were in the street, or I just had like these big stories like going on, and that like completely like like broke me. Like it's like I don't want to be part of this world. I'm not part of this world. I'm not part of this world. Fuck this world. And there's like this like, big separation, and it's like kind of like all happening inside. There was no anger, no expression from me. It's all happening like kind of like in my own like resentment, and feeling like what's wrong with me or what's wrong with this world. And that kept going, and for like about a year of like going in and out of that, uh like seeing the good in people when I used to receive gifts. And so I think what happened is that like I buried it down, like I buried it down, and I numbed it down so that I could have some sort of connection, because I was getting to this place of like no connection. Like I was like completely disconnected from everybody. Like I couldn't connect with anybody. Everybody that I will talk with, I will get triggered by them. Eh, yeah, especially anybody that shows signs that they had money or a relationship with money. and and I like created like this like complete disassociation from these people, and it started becoming like choking and choking and choking, that I couldn't be in the world. Like I needed some kind of connection, and I started like numbing myself to just being numb, to just like being like I'm not even gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna talk about this money thing. I know that uh, yeah, I'm not even gonna talk about this money thing. I hate you, and I'm not even gonna like say that I hate you, and you're an asshole for having all this money and not considering people without money, something like that. There was this like secret hatred, and that kept going and kept going and kept going and kept going for 5 years throughout the birth of my children, um, until the time where I met you, and there was a that resentment was like full in action there, like it was like full in action, like fully numbed out, like I wasn't even aware of it. I was there was an awareness of it, that hatred, but there was this part of me that was like no, you have to like connect with them, because otherwise you will die. You need some sort of connection. And yeah, that connection, like being fully alive here in the island, fully alive in Ontario. When I came back to Canada, Ollie was born, my daughter was born, and then not being able to make it there at all in Ontario, and traveling to Colombia, not being able to make it in Colombia. So something else happened in Colombia, but I don't know. Yeah, I think also like in coming back to Canada, like it was like that, like big resentment just like came like full fledged. Um,
And so when you came to the island and then you met me, and I heard you say you'd been in this like big disconnection,
yeah,
and then you realized you're like, no, I gotta connect. I gotta connect. So
yeah.
was
So there was a part of me that hated you and that had that resentment, like, oh, look at her, she's like this like fancy lady with money or whatever. Wow, and I feel my gremlin coming in right now. Yeah, so there is that part of me that had like that resentment was like alive there, and that hatred, and there was this part of me that no, I have to like work with her somehow to get the things that I need, and this like comes like the part uh where all of my like this like unconscious and like unconscious commitments or unconscious principles come in of like bowing down, and like just like swallowing my feelings, and like this whole process that is so familiar, like no, I cannot be myself, because if I'm myself, uh like it's just gonna keep creating the same thing, which is more disconnection. It's just gonna keep creating more disconnection, and I didn't want to create more disconnection, because we're dying. Like I was dying there, like riding on the road ourselves, and just being so disconnected from the world, and like yeah, you were this thing, you were this person that is like a breach, like a possibility, like a brink of possibility to something else. Yeah, no, I'm touching it with that grief of missing the village, and like that deadness of not of just being so disconnected, so isolated, so lonely with me and my children, and being kicked out of places, being rejected from places, and still not finding the village, still not finding the place where this is valuable, where I am of value, or where I find my value, or where I didn't even know what I wanted. I just wanted village, and I wasn't getting it. Yeah, and yeah, I'm scared of going into my sadness, because I'm in this public space here. It's big, it's really big, it's bigger than this. Mm. Yeah, I feel like I'm blocking my sadness, like I'm scared of feeling here or something.
I heard you say your sadness. You're afraid to go in your sadness because it's public space, but I also
Yeah,
heard you say it's so big, it's bigger than this. Your sadness feels big, it's bigger than this.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like this possibility of joy that I'm seeing is that I'm finally seeing that shimmer of light of how I can still be myself, still feel like be myself uh, in being my own authority and not giving my center to money, and being in relation with others, being in conflict, being in this conflict together, like that. Yeah, like that being my value. Like I want this problem, I want to be in this problem, I chose this problem. And yeah, it feels like it's big. And yeah, I'm just making sense of it, like I want to wail, and it's like tear up, and be crazy about it,
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, it's been a big pain of many years of being disconnected and not, and it's still alive. It's still alive that I disconnect from people, and I don't know how to connect with them, and I'm scared of saying the wrong thing. I'm scared of being angry about like bringing my clarity about money, and bringing my clarity about like who I am and who you are in this world and who we are. And it's, yeah, it's so big, and it's been so long, and it's like I'm like, yeah, like the grief is wanting to come out and being shared with the people in my village. And it's been wanting to be shared with you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that there is this big pain that that a big wounding that happened to me when I was a child, that I've been carrying on all this time, and that it is coming to a healing, or it's coming to clarity. Uh, yeah, yeah, and then there is joy in bringing this, and there is joy in my tears too, in the crying. There's like I can feel it feels like adult sadness, like I'm grieving this pain that I've been in for the last 5 years, for the last 9 years that I've been in this pain, and actually like the last 30 years of my life been in this pain.
It's a long time. You've been in this pain for the last 30 years. Since you were like 6 or 7.
Yeah,
Yeah. And you feel like you could wail. I don't know if this is helpful to imagine blankets over you, like you're in this space, like a container, blankets over you where you can just grieve and wail.
yeah. I think I'm bringing. Yeah, yeah. I want to create the space for that, and
Mhm.
it's not here. And even just like bringing this level of sadness here, it's edgy, and it feels like it's changing this space and the space around me,
Mhm.
and I'm actually getting to share that pain, that connection with you, of,
Mhm.
of in our relational space, in my relational space with you.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, and I feel so glad about it, because It's like I'm getting to see that my grieving is gonna be there for a while. Like is I'm gonna be grieving for a while, and that grief is gonna be there because there is a lot,
Mhm.
and like even like beyond my lifetime, like it's like from from past times, and that is it's alive like that, and the joy is coming from that. It's already creating value for me. It's already creating value in my connection of what's happening. Like, why did I choose this? Why did I choose to have this problem? And
Do you have insight into that? Why
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah. So there was this first part when I was 6 years old, when when I made the decision that money was more important than people. Money was more important than me, more important than my fun. And then like living is like cutting myself off and saying my gremlin is gonna take care of it. And gremlin say I'll take care of it. Uh, and me just like shutting myself off. Then uh, coming into adulthood like that, like around like around 9 years ago, around 9 years ago when I had like this stable job, a stable place, like a successful. I was successful in the world. I had an apartment, I had a recording studio, I had friends, I had a girlfriend, I had partners, I had food, I had all these things, and coming into this change of mind or change of being, it's like of the price that I was paying for that, the price that my being was paying to for that, and it became really really obvious in a music festival or in a well, I started my relationship with the medicine of mushrooms and the medicine of cannabis, and I went deeper into the medicine of tobacco, and I went into deep nature immersions where there was like this big awakening of my being, and then a, a music festival that I went to that just like it's like completely blasted my box off, and it came to this like clarity of like I can't keep fucking wasting my life this way. I just can't keep wasting my life in this job. Like it's not feeling me. It's not it's really not what's needed right now in the world. Like um there is also a mix of like watching different documentaries uh that just like brought like just like this race of awareness about like a bigger picture than the small picture that I had. and and then I chose that problem. I remember the clarity when I chose that problem. I was like, this is gonna be fucking hard, but I don't know where I'm going. I know there's gonna be lots of suffering, and I have no idea how I'm gonna do it. But I'm done. I quit my job. I'm done with this job. I'm done with this work. And
Mhm.
I was crying, and like it was so hard. The day after that was so hard. The day after that music festival was so hard. I was like, I wanted to clean up the whole space. I went to the dance floor in the morning, like 6 a.m. in the morning or 7 a.m. And there was a fucking huge mess and a gremlin mess of bottles and cans and trash, and I just went there and I started like cleaning and like looking at other people and just like being like in this like being to be in connection with others, and I was crying. Just like my being was so devastated. I crying in that time. And it was. like I can't keep wasting my life in this 9 to 5 job, and I can't keep wasting my life in this job. It was amazing. The the
Mhm.
the the two co-workers that I had, they were amazing people. The three people that I was working with, they were amazing. We had this amazing company brewing up of like amazing collaboration and listening, and they were paying for my training, and we had this amazing office overlooking the ocean, and they were communicative. They were so open to my communication, to 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 accommodating, and like they asked me like, what can we do for you, what can we do for you, like what is it that you want? And I had no fucking clue other than can't be here. I don't I this is I can't be here. I need to go fucking go and find what else is there for me. And it was about like like cutting that relationship with money. Uh and and it was, yeah, like there was this story that money comes from the money. The way that we use money right now is debt. Is connected with debt. The money that the way that we create money right now is connected with debt,
Mhm.
and that every dollar that is made is attached with a debt. Like it's attached with a some that it needs to be paid.
Mhm.
And I decided to go on that journey. I chose that journey.
Sounds transformational. Sounds like a journey of transformation.
Yeah, yeah. I had the clarity from my being that I didn't want to do that anymore. Whatever I was doing with my work, I didn't want to keep living like that. I wanted to live a life where I could be myself. I could be in my music, in my art, and I had no idea what that was.
Mhm.
I had I, I had no idea what that was.
Mhm.
So that's kind of the clarity that's coming about it, of why I chose that problem.
Was that problem? And then yeah, so yeah, you chose this problem, you went on this transformational journey, and then you met me and other community here, and I heard you say earlier that some like grief had come up with you about the village and me, village money, and then me as well in there. And I wondered if there was anything more you wanted to say, like towards me, like the resentment you've had. You shared a bit of it,
Hmm.
um, feeling like when you met me, I was like, yeah, fancy lady. You felt a little bit of gremlin activity come up, um, and then you saw that I used money and worked with money, but you made an opening, a willingness to work with me. But maybe you had these judgment or these resentments still towards me.
Yeah, it was um yeah, it was connected with that rejection of
Okay.
of money, reaction of money, and anybody that works with money, anybody that has money, anybody that works for money, anybody that has a bank account, even like any like just like there was like just like sensors, like judging, and
Mm-hmm.
it was like numb, uh but it was like hidden. It was like very hidden,
Mm-hmm.
like I just keep it down because I couldn't use that because it will be like killing myself. It will be like killing my connection, killing my possibilities for connection with you or with anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to like pretend like nothing was happening and it's all cool. Like I'm this cool guy, and inside me is like this resentment of like, oh, we're still sleeping in the street and nobody's doing anything about it. So it's like this big victim story.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, like we're still like sleeping in our car. We still don't have other mothers and other families to collaborate with. We're still like not, we don't have a garden to grow food. We're still like getting food from the food bank, and like surviving on government money, and there's like all of this, like I'm less, I am less, and you are more. So you are bad because you're not helping me that I have less. This is like total, like it's like running on my victim story to create resentment, to and it was like perpetuating this story that, yeah, and it's still like an edge for me about like, um about where does the money come from, where is the money come from, like yeah, like I know how to make it, I know how to use it, I know how to spend it, I know how to make a bank account, and where does it come from, something like that, like there's still an edge there about it.
Mhm.
Wow. Yeah, just gonna check back here if there's a plug. One moment. Okay.
What were you checking?
If there was a plug. My my
Okay.
computer is running a bit low on battery, but I think it should be okay for the next half an hour or 45
So
minutes.
do you still feel this degree of intensity towards others working like in villages, working with money, or towards others?
No, no, no. This
Mm.
is what's been the process of like getting closer and closer and closer and closer to that edge where I'm
Mhm.
able to like see that that's what I've been doing.
Mhm.
That's the story that I've been holding. That's the story that I'm still holding because I still haven't gone all the way through it.
Mhm.
And seeing that, and yeah, like it's coming out to like more clarity, more communication, and more like more feeling the grief of the pain that I'm causing myself, the
Mhm.
pain that I'm causing myself in like this disconnection, and this like, how I'm creating resentment for like 80 or 90% of my village, and and, uh, and like it's like I'm running on 10%, something like
Mhm.
that. I'm running on this 10% who are also like they I they can't sustain because it's too much. Like it's only 10%, so I like these little bits and little trickles.
Right. So I can see how much this has played into your and I relating, and
To
like
my
what
what? Into my
to
what?
to our relating, your and I
Yeah.
relate. I can see how much this has played into it in a way of perpetuating the triangle that we were speaking into yesterday, of this victim, savior, persecutor. And in this way, I see how I've played into this through my wounds with money. Because in my relationship with money is I became a savior for people from a very young age, because I was at the hands of watching a mother who was abused, and um, a mother being abused violently, and staying in a relationship because of money. And I made a very like strong choice as a child that I would like, well, either I was going to save my mother, or well, I had to save myself, and then I will save others, never at the hands of someone else. And so I began to work very hard as a young person with all the purpose for survival, um, to give people safe homes because I wasn't in a safe home. And I made a really strong choice to my like providing safe homes for people, myself or my mother or others. And my high school boyfriend from 15 to 20 was a millionaire. So I even like, and then I saw how disgusting and abusive that was. And so I wanted nothing to do with that as well. He showed up in a dream last night. or in the last couple nights. Well, anyways, I went to the Philippines. I was sent away as a missionary, and I remember from the moment I was in Manila, being like in the traffic and the kids coming up to the car, knocking on the window and crying and asking for money. And I was like, it fed into this more like, I'm gonna take care of these kids on the street, and I'm gonna take care of all these people. And so, and then that's what I was partially doing there, was helping like in safe spaces there. And yeah, then I got back and it continued. I became more grateful towards my mother, because I used to wish I was born into a different family. And because they said like I always thought we were poor, but then I went there and realized how much I had. And so, well, yeah, the journey continued. I began working more, but all because I wanted to save others and help the world from the States, from these like children starving or in unsafe places. So yeah, that was the journey of my life, until actually I ended up in a forest with a bunch of people prepping for maybe a apocalypse or something 10 years ago. And I gave all my money to these people and got severely taken advantage of. And then I was like, well, how am I supposed to take care of the children now? I just gave all my money away. Like, who's going to take care of the kids? So this complex of money was always running through me. And yeah, that was a real big learning situation from the people that took that money. And yeah, it was always about the children and finding shelter. So savior, I had this deep savior complex of saving. So that I feel my gremlin right there too. And I've got that awareness, like when you called me a fancy lady. So yeah, I showed up, and I feel like that's been part of our relating, is being in this savior's place of I'm not going to judge myself too much, because it's like the heart of it is like about children. And also, yeah, like this is part of our relating, that we're adults and you're not a child. So my relating even with my brothers throughout my life, like I would put money in their account, even like not even because they're musicians and I believe in the musicians so much, and I just want musicians to keep playing music. And so my one of my brothers, who's a year younger than me, I knew he was having a hard time, and so for a year I put money in his bank account without telling him or letting him know. But I just wanted, yeah, still though, I've had this way of being, and it's marked it to my own loss and my own demise. Like it's a martyr. It's being a savior, but then sacrificing my own needs for others. And finally, like when I was at the lowest of the low in January, when I was in so much grief, the loss of the 3 children, living out of my car and not taking care of myself, I finally got myself together, and I have warm shelter over my head, and now I'm taking care of me. And this is money. This is money, but I'm putting it into myself now. It feels like what's transforming is that I'm putting it into myself now. I don't have children that I'm caring for. I have my inner child that I'm caring for, that was so like traumatized from not having a home, or there's violence in the home and we're gonna have to move homes because we're too embarrassed to be in that home. And so carrying all this stuff like things all around me. There's all these things I carry and I own and I have, but it's because I'm carrying a nomadic school on my back. Like I'm a big turtle island, like carrying a mama, like carrying all this stuff so that I can have it for people that need it, or in case I have, like, it's like my nomadic school I'm carrying with all these things that I have to provide. Um, and now I have this other job too that is amazing, where it's an actual school, but yet I still carry all these things in case the home collapses again. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing your journey.
Thanks. Yeah, and it's still like I'm in it. It's transforming. Like when I saw it hitting my place of the Scorpio eclipse, because I'm a 0 degree Scorpio, it's the rising and it's the first house. And the first house is the first house is our identity, who we are. So I'm getting an identity like who are you? Where's your power? Like yeah, it's happening. And then the second house is finances. So I got Scorpio in my finances, so it's like, woo, I've had this like journey with it. And something saying like just something about responsibility with how I'm, yeah. And
What's
like
that?
hmm?
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah, it's like my responsibility is to myself, to care for myself first, like care for myself, take care of my needs, and I'll give it all away to others way before even my own self, like that I love or I want to be with, and I'll like just like rather give it all to them, and I'll catch up somehow, and it's a martyrdom. And then I quickly go from savior to victim. So it's been keeping me in that triangle. Yeah, and then I have like this huge, still like this heart passion. Like my dream was actually to have an orphanage, even like care for kids, and but that maybe might have been a bit of programming too, growing up on Annie and Anna Green Gables. But it's I don't know, it's still my love. Like I love that nurturing, caring. But it's like what about caring stuff?
Mm. Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
So I can see now why this has come up in our conversation, going back to yesterday, and how we were in this place of that low drama triangle.
Can you say more about that?
Yeah, just how I've been relating like with you, like even right now, like I want to like, man, like this is like savior complex. And this is what's different though. This is what's transforming, because like now when you were sharing your story, I was like keeping myself separate, not being hooked by your story, wanting to be compassionate but not give you everything I have. um and there's just, yeah, I want to hold space for you to be like empowered and be, even in your sadness yesterday, like I just wanted to hear it. And then like I realized it's because I wanted, like I'd heard you'd had like been having this sadness these last few days, and I wanted to save you. I wanted you to a gremlin. I wanted you to call me and I could just be there for you and be your savior.
Mm-hmm.
And I had that awareness last night. I was like, fuck, like, damn. it was big. And I want to find a way where I can hold deep compassion for you.
You are.
Yeah.
You are like even in this like, yeah, like the like just yeah, like right now you are like in putting your story on the table, and in putting like what's happening for you on the table, and like you are, I'm also I also want to hold space for you. I'm also holding space for you
Mhm.
to, yeah, to bring that, that your for your evolution, for your growth.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. And you felt like a very safe space for me, because in my experience of men and their money was the most disgusting, horrible, like yuck. Like even when my father had it, it would be controlled to keep my mother, an abusive relationship. Then I found myself 15 to 20 in this, like, ew, this is just gross, this millionaire that I'm been paired up with, and I'm not going to do this. So I broke away and became my own savior, and vowed to be like, save myself with money,
Mhm.
and be like, I've never like expected or had any thoughts of a man with money again. In fact, quite the opposite. It was just turned off of men with money, and I would prefer like a monk, a person full of love. And that's what like was far more attractive to me. It felt safer to me, if and so, and more compatible. And now I'm seeing the pattern is that, um, then I end up though in this different savior role, and now I want to transform that. I I like, yeah, I want to find this other way now, and I see the pattern. I see my gifts. I see my identity and my ability in it, and I want to call on my own personal gifts and abilities to like be able to hold myself up and support myself in the place of stability, while empowering others around me who I love in my village the same, without building the whole village for them, of of my own resources and energy. Yeah.
Thank you. What
Mhm.
we use like what principles feel alive for you right now, like that you're sharing this?
What principles?
Yeah.
Kindness.
Kindness. Yeah. Yeah, I
And
can see
then,
it.
yeah, and then there's this like my mom is the kindest person I've ever known. And then I had this other friend that, like, so kind, and he had said, please don't mistake my kindness for stupid. And
You're
yeah,
feeling
I'm
something.
yeah, I'm just feeling the love of that person that showed me what love, like, showed me love, that showed me, yeah, that I'm feeling that they can't, like, how people around like saw him as like a brown lowly person, and they didn't realize how much love was in this person, and that they were missing out. Like, I cry for this person, with people not seeing the value of this human, this kindness human, that, yeah, that like was so kind. And I've seen this happen with people that are so kind, and then they give it all, and then they martyr themselves, and then they become victim.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's this bright principle that I value incredibly. And then, yeah, there's just this big like self-love aspect to it. Like, we got to care for our own self first before we care for others.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. Right principles, yeah, that one. Kindness, yeah, compassion, yeah.
Thank you. There was something that you said just before uh, about becoming unhookable when you were talking about like you were practicing not being hooked to my story.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and like it kind of sounded that being unhookable is being uncompassionate. Uh, and like I wrote it down and I didn't mention it, and I thought I'll mention it now because you're bringing it out like as one of your bright principles, like that you're like this bright principle of compassion and kindness, and that these are really alive forces in the space, and that you can become like a channel for those forces to come through and to operate through you and to give messages through you and to create that principle in the space. You can make a like create a space where you're a channel for compassion and you're a channel for kindness. And this has nothing to do with Serena. Like this is like Serena is like over here and you just like Serena will be like your box and you're a channel for compassion and kindness.
Mm.
And 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 I being unhookable, being if you're still hookable, you wouldn't be able to be a channel for or a conduit, a tube. We call it a tube because it's like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like this tube that you can become like you use a tube for this principle.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're hookable, you wouldn't be able to be a tube for compassion, or you wouldn't be able to be a tube for kindness.
Oh, because you're hooked, and so there's not the flow, the energy flow going through.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So so you're hooked. So you're still saying like, oh, I'm Serena, or like let's say for me like, oh, like I'm still Jorge, and I have I'm not able to do this. I have limitations to do this or to do that, or I have a fear of doing these things because this thing that happened to me in the past, and so I'm still, if I'm doing that, like I'm still hookable to my own box, like I'm getting hooked to my own box. I'm identifying with my box, and that prevents me from being a tube or a conduit for my bright principles.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so
Mm-hmm.
this practice of becoming unhookable is very very powerful
Very
and
powerful because even in the conversation that we had yesterday with our team,
mm,
I didn't realize I got hooked at the beginning of the phone call. And then I just sat there the whole call, almost like even far from the screen or getting up and like disconnected and not in those bright principles that
mm,
we had even said. And I like, it was a powerful learning experience for me because I'm so grateful that someone told me I got hooked at the beginning and I didn't realize how I was. And it was very experiential.
mm. And
And yeah,
yeah.
and just being like that, like as such an empath, and there's this just distinction, you know, with empaths, we like just doing a little bit extra work here because like your feelings are like, oh, I feel your feelings so deeply, and then it's like easier in a way,
Mm,
or I'm more susceptible to be easily hooked, and yeah. So this compassion is a way, it's like slightly different than this empathy. And yeah, you were going to share something else about the hookable thing.
yeah, there's this thing that I keep remembering Clinton said about being unhookable. It's it can almost seem like it's inhumane, like you're not a human, and like he tells stories about getting attacked and getting like attacked from like him being unhookable, um, and I and there is still like a way of being unhookable, that you can be unhookable and still be in full loving connection with somebody. In fact, that's when you can be of like real service to another, when you're unhookable to your own box, or to other people's boxes, or to their gremlin. um, and then you can like be present, you can stay in presence, being of service to your principles, to the principles that you take a stand for, that you want.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an empowering thing. It's really empowering and alive. It's like full, like, yeah, like I'm here, and I'm present, and I hear your stories, and I'm not hooked, and I'm still like here in contact with you. And it can almost seem inhumane, or like some, like, I don't know, it can be almost like incompassionate, or
Mm-hmm.
this unkind, like it's not kind.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like those edges there, to be explored.
Yeah, I feel like this is an edge for me, and is a powerful practice as well, just with my own boundaries and self-care. Like, this is that part of that, giving all that I have away. Like,
Mm,
here's my soul, here's my heart, have it. I'll die with you.
mm,
And this is like, in our relating, what, or my relating, like even beyond with you, what others, my brothers, you know. I want to find this way of practicing compassion and kindness without martyring myself
mm,
and then becoming victim. Savior like goes right to victim then. Like, yeah, yeah. And then that goes right to the persecutor, because now I'm pissed off at you because I just gave you it all. And so, yeah, it is perhaps like in this initial getting hooked that brings us into that cycle, that triangle. I haven't studied a lot about it, but I could see that.
mm.
Yeah. Is there anything else coming up for you?
There's Yeah, there is this case, like what happens, like, um let's say this is the scenario that it kind of like it was bubbling up. um you have you decided that you have 20, and I don't know, this might, let me know, I'm gonna just put it out there and see how it goes. You have $20 in your pocket, and that's kind of like all the cash that you have, or all the money that you have, and you decided that you're gonna go and get a sandwich and a drink at the grocery store, because that's what you need for your nourishment. And then you're jolly on your way to the grocery store, and and there is a child in the street, that, so maybe it's a different country, maybe it's in Guatemala, or Manila, or something like that, and he's asking for money, or he's asking for this thing. And yeah, like, my question is, like what happens then, what happens where, like, in that conflict of, like, I have to take care of my needs, or I have to take care of, or I take care do I take care of my needs, or do I take care of this other being that's asking for my help right now, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I feel angry about, like, my my scenario, because it's kind of like manipulative, or like like it's like twisting or something.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that I don't know, like, what's coming is that there is no rule or something, that there is no right or wrong.
Mm-hmm. What came to mind that I would do is like there is this aspect I have within my I don't know, the construct is that there's some sort of trade as well. Like, because this scenario has happened many times in travel, and I just make friends with the child, or the brothers. Sometimes they're young, like teenage boys, actually, and like with no sort of like, sexual innuendo, but just in friendship. So then we hang out and they practice Spanish with me, or we hang out and like so in your situations, those examples you gave me in this kid, and then I'm like, hey, you want to sit and hang out? Let's make jewelry together, and then like trade, time. Time is a resource for me. Time is very valuable. Like I equate people spending time with me as like a very valuable resource. So that's a trade for me. And so then I spend time with that kid, and I'm like, hey, you want to hang out and make jewelry? And now I'm having this experience with this child, and now I'm sharing my sandwich. Yeah. So I feel like I'm not always, there's a trade-off. I'm not always giving to my like own losses or demise. There's something I'm receiving as well in these situations. The people that I gave my money to in the forest 10 years ago, well, I learned a lot about living in the forest from them. Like that's the exchange, I guess. I learned how to be a survivalist through intense experiences. Yeah. So there is that. I think like there's always some, it's money is energy, so it's just energy being exchanged. Money is energy. My energy working, my time that I had to spend working for it. But in the end, it's this money is this energy, and you're just trading energy. We're trading this thing come in a weird bill, or
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How much time do we have left? I'm just feeling if there's other things we wanted to
Well, my there's about 15 minutes left to 7.
Okay, cool. Please. Yeah, just a second. Did you lose my picture?
No, it's still there.
Okay. So let's just call yeah, I don't want to get into like or possibilities right now, but I just want to share that I have some possibilities around grief within the village and holding space through working through like song and ritual and grief, because it is such a complex feeling and really beautiful golden village. And so I have some ideas or possibilities around that of asking, like Carrie is someone who held that for me before, but we all hold it together is the thing. I just wanted to share that. Yeah.
Wow.
We really
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. There's okay. I'm feeling like, was there any other topics that you wanted to cover?
No, that's. I wanted to ask you if there is anything else you want to share.
Okay. I feel like the place that we've just been feels yeah, like feeling deep into that. There was other stuff about like releasing of expectations in our relational space that I have some notes on, and also it almost feels like another topic or something, and I'm
My impulse is saying that there might be a lot of expectation, and if you have an impulse to start now, that we use the next 10 minutes for that, if you like.
Okay, just a second here. Okay. Well, the other thing we could share is just around this like transformation about like what's happening right now with like this eclipse and moving out this old stuff from us. Just a second, I have to fix my phone. People are trying to yeah, how I'm relating with you and others, Melissa, like people on the team. How I can how I can move from like saving, helping, and enabling, and being more in a support place and of empowering. Well, last night I had a dream that I was driving the bus. He was on me. Jimmy was here, and him and I were driving the bus, and there was a really turmoil time happening in the back of the bus, and it was like there was crying, there was yelling, there was just a turbulence. I can just explain it as a lot of turbulence. And so I was just feeling into that dream today, and like how was I showing up in that dream? I'm like helping drive the bus, like, but it wasn't in a saving way. Anyhow, I just became like aware of maybe the grief that was happening.
Mm. You became aware of the grief that was happening.
Yeah, that was happening within the family and within what's going on. Yeah.
Right.
I just say that
Yeah, the grief that's happening is that we both listened to Martin Prechtel. Melissa listened to it first. She was like crying and pouring, and then she shared it with me, and then I was crying and pouring, and we're now in this like very alive process of grief, and it's like yeah, like being like in this grieving for village. So we're like really grieving for village, and like we want to cry the village to presence. We want to cry the village together, something like that. Like bring a village together with our tears. And yeah, like in a way, like calling for that village to hold the space for the value of the grief, like the value of the grief. There is so much value, and it's so alive. It's so alive. When I was in my grief today, like in that space, it's just like wow. There is so much. There is so much. There is so much. I was crying like half of the process. And then the other half, there was part of it where I felt rage and anger, and like still it wasn't like super strong rage, like it was just like very little access to rage. and fear. There was like fear, and there's like these big feelings that were happening in that process. So, and there is still so much there. It's just alive, like becoming alive right now, and becoming more aware of how how it kind of like it kind of dies when I don't see it, when I don't see that grief, when I become this normal thing. It's like I think Martin Purcell, he calls it like a flatliner, like it's just flatlining, and uh, neither sad or happy. He's just like a flatliner. It's like this cool guy, and yeah, it's like I'm touching like my ancestors are like grieve me, or like I'm here still waiting for you to grieve me. Like the ancestors are waiting there for me to grieve them and to cry for them, and to like feel them like close to me, and they're so close, and I feel joy about that. I feel joy in feeling them close. I feel joy in feeling them uh, and that they want that they want to be grieved, so that my children can grieve me when I die, so that yeah, so that the next generations learn how to grieve, and so that I can like praise life and like be in life, and like be alive while I'm alive, that I'm alive. Like it's not like I'm in life, but I'm like half dead, like flatlining. So that's what's coming from this grief and this process, this thing that I shared yesterday in our meeting, that I'm feeling sad is that big like bottle that got like open, and this new doorway of like stuff that I a new doorway to my sadness. It feels like my sadness, but it's also like my other feelings. It's like a cork for my other feelings, because there is rage in there too. There is fear in there too. And right now it's like showing up as sadness, as it's like crying about it and feeling the tenderness of it.
So powerful. This is like the my dad dying when I was 33 was like the first time I was like opening that bottle to my for grief, where I got to learn about grief. And I'm like, grief, because there's anger in there too. Like grief is so complex, all the feelings, there's so much in there, and unpacking that, and
Yeah,
then that beloved, that kind, also adding, like showing me this is grief, now I'm gonna leave, and now you're gonna experience what grief is. And then the journey of grief, the loss of the 3 babies over the last 2 years, and that access it gave me, like to that grief, was like, that was it for me. It was like, go into this now, and do this not only for yourself but for the village. And also, like, the those babies becoming like ancestors,
yeah,
they they wanted like my, like those tears, like to give them back, that so that they knew that they were, that life had value, that their life, even though unborn, that they were loved and that they are valued. And it was like ancestors coming through,
yeah,
and coming through to be grieved. And I guess 2 days ago I went back to East Souk Park, and that's, I went into deep prayer, actually praying to, like, praying to um those unborn children, just like sending them all my love, and also asking for support even. Yeah. So I feel grateful to be on this journey, and I have that Grief and Praise Mark Cocktail on audiobook. I might I'll probably put it on again as I continue to clean through my closets this week and continue baggage removal.
Thank you, Serena.
Thank you, Jorge.
Alrighty, I'll say let's close it right here, send it right here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's close it right here. And I have a couple questions, and I'll catch up with you in a moment with that. All right.
Yeah. Would you say what those questions are?
Oh, it's just linguistics around or I'm beginning to do like things and readings.
It's kind of cutting off. It cut off a little bit there and couldn't hear you.
Yeah.
Could you say it again?
Oh, I was going to talk to you about the time of your birth, because I was going to look up to see where Scorpio runs in your chart.
Okay.
Do you want me to get back to you after this? We can end this call here.
Wait, are you asking what is the time of my birth?
Yeah.
All right, because it wasn't clear. You said I wanted to ask you about the time of your birth so that I can do the chart.
Mm-hmm. And I thought I could call you back separate from this call if you would like.
Yeah, it wasn't clear. Your question was not clear.
Mm-hmm. Let me try again. Would you like me to call you back to talk about that aspect of Scorpio in your charts outside of this particular recording?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, let's do that another time.
Okay.
Yeah, let me know. You can message me and we can arrange a time for that. Yeah, I send my anyways. I send my birth time on our chat. Is there anything else? Is there anything else? Yeah, anything else?
Hugs.
Alrighty. Bye, Serena. Thank you for your time.
Okay.
Going this journey.
Anything else? I guess part of me wants to give you a hug. Not part of me. That's what I want to do.
Cool. Let's hug like this.
That's better.
Alrighty.
Okay, that feels better. Thank you. It just felt weird saying goodbye in this box, this intimate box. Okay, thank you.
Alright.
Okay.
Bye, Serena. Thank you.